Hello, hello, hello. It is freezing cold in Gauteng at the moment. Winter is officially here. Welcome to Eleutheria, where we discuss all things liberty. Eleutheria is the Greek word for freedom, and we believe that freedoms are under threat in South Africa. And so that is why I decided to start this channel so that we can discuss those things. And this week, a constitutional lawyer came out and said that inheritance is unfair. Your children should not be entitled to your inheritance because they didn't work for it. They didn't do anything to deserve it. This type of thinking is just the most dangerous thinking for wealth creation I have ever heard. Maybe not ever heard, but seriously, this is dangerous territory to be in, because if you tell people that their children cannot expect to receive the wealth that they have created over their lifetimes, that they cannot bequeath that wealth to their children, people will just stop. They'll think, what the hell is the point in doing this? What the hell is the point in trying to make a better life for myself and my family if my family cannot stand to benefit from it? That's how people will take this if this comes to pass. It infringes on property rights. It infringes on everything that a lot of South Africans stand for. And I'm not just talking about white South Africans. The Zulu kingdom, the Zulu people are very protective of their land and of their wealth that they accumulate over their lifetimes. And they want to know that their legacy will be passed down to the generations after them. And for us to turn around and say, no, that can't happen anymore, because it's creating an even bigger divide between the have and the have-nots. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I'm wondering, what are people's thoughts on that? Do you agree with this? Do you agree that inheritances should not happen? Do you believe that inheritances should be massively taxed so that the wealth can be redistributed to other people who have done nothing to work for it, to so-called deserve it? How do you South Africans feel about that type of thing? Sorry, just covering up. Didn't realize that doorway is so well lit today that it's coming through on the video. Really need to do something about painting up this glass door. I don't think that there are many South Africans that would stand for this type of legislation, should it even come into effect. I don't think anybody would agree to it at all. As I say, there's absolutely no point in working towards making a better life for yourself or for your family if it's just going to be taken away by the government to be redistributed fairly, because we know that the South African government is incredibly fair when it does these sort of things. Very, very fair. Yeah. I'm sure you'll learn very quickly my sarcastic voice. I wanted to read something by a highly regarded media house in South Africa. News 24 asked 5 questions of Pierre de Vos. So the first question they asked, and I mean, you've really got to love the grammar of this question. You are motivating for inheritance tax to be introduced in South Africa. How would it practically look like? That's delicious English right there. Delicious English. So Pierre de Vos admits that he's not an expert. So he avoided speaking about the practicality. Okay. Interesting. One must make sure that orphan children are looked after, spouses and so on. One can have a progressive sort of tax, so the smaller your estate, the less tax you pay. I don't know, I'm not an expert on tax, but it is the concept that I'm supporting. I think the idea is about questioning the idea of inheritance is something that should go beyond South Africa. There are practical issues if you only do it in one country, such as immigration. But I think there should be a movement across the globe to mitigate the effects of unbridled capitalism, and this would be one of them. Would an inheritance tax not infringe on people's right to property in the Constitution? I think it would be easier to introduce the tax because there's already a 20% inheritance tax on all inheritance over a certain amount in South Africa. So there's already a tax on that, exactly. And a lot of people that do inherit actually can't afford to pay the tax without selling a whole bunch of stuff so that they can actually get the inheritance. It's actually ridiculous. Of course, it's going to be difficult to justify that in terms of our constitution. Really, I'll just put a link to this article in the video description after I finish this live stream because I can't. I just can't. Pierre de Vos, you're an idiot. You're talking about things that are way out of your league because you actually have admitted that you don't know a lot about tax. You're not a tax expert. And implementing something like this across the world is only going to ensure that people do not want to work towards creating a better life for themselves and for their families. This is very, very dangerous territory. And for you to be putting ideas like this out and to think that this is a good idea across the board is absolutely ridiculous. And I think that maybe you need to have a little rethink over your stance on this. And that's where I'm going to end today's stream because it's a Saturday morning. It's freezing cold. And I don't feel like getting any more worked up about this than I already am. So everybody, have a fantastic day. Stay warm, stay safe. If you're new here, you've found the replay, please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so that you can stay on top of any other topics of Eleutheria that I might be discussing. And yeah, let's start a movement towards a more free, libetous world. Cheers, everybody.